Alright, what's up YouTube? Welcome to this video. My name is Cara Janelle. As you see by the title, it is called Love Them Like the Lord Loves You. And this video was really hard for me to bring about. I'm still like, I don't really want to do this. But nevertheless, I'm here because the word tells us that obedience is better than sacrifice. And by the title, I mean, love them like the Lord loves you. Sometimes in life, especially if it's God's will, and this is not just speculation. Of course, I'm going to bring up the word of God to explain this, but God might put people in your life and want you to love them the way that he loves you. And I'm talking about with the attributes of Christ, like how Christ is always merciful, always forgiving, accepting our forgiveness. He loves us like a father loves us. He is there for us, and he's all these wonderful things unto us. And sometimes God will put people in our life where he's requiring you to love that person like the way the Lord loves you, like Christ loves you, so that they can recognize the love of Christ, so that they can see, how the word tells us that men will recognize our good works and give glory to our Father which is in heaven. So sometimes he'll put these people in your life and want you to love them the way that he loves, in the attributes of the way that he loves. I'm not talking about nothing crazy. I'm talking about like in the attributes of Christ, in order for them to see his goodness through you as the vessel. And this can be any type of way, whatever way he put people in your life for that. And it can be pertaining to relationships, people that you're in relationships with, or people that God has called you to be in relationships with, and things of that nature. And I see a lot of this whole kingdom spouse and God ordained person type stuff going around, and I never wanted to be someone making those type of videos. Not that people aren't accurately speaking, but I just never really thought I'd be here doing this. But nevertheless, I am. So in this, what I'm going to bring up, it is kind of about a love like that. And we're going to use Hezekiah as an example. And Hezekiah, he was told by the Lord to go marry this prostitute woman. And he was told by the Lord to go do this for specific reasons, because God was about to lay out, using that situation, he was going to lay out this judgment on Israel, who had been, not focusing on him and not serving him. They were out serving other gods. And he had orchestrated this to happen in a certain way. So that's what we're going to get into. But earlier this morning, like early in the morning, like 2, 3, 4 in the morning, whatever time it was, when I was kind of like sitting with the Lord, like just trying to figure out, stuff that was going on in my life and things of that nature, figuring out dreams that I had dreamed that night. In the video I made this morning, I talked a little bit about Proverbs 23. I had said that, the Lord had brought me to that chapter this morning, but I didn't go too in depth about it. So the whole chapter, Proverbs chapter 23, is talking about, certain things going on. But there is some specific verses that I'm going to bring up. And right now I'm going to bring up verses 6 through 8. And it says, "Eat thou not the bread of him that have an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. The morsel which thou hast eaten, thou shalt vomit up and lose thy sweet words." So I know we've probably all heard that voice, as he thinks in his heart, so is he. And, a lot of times people cut out that part where it says, eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. Sometimes people cut that out. And right now I want to bring up the importance of that, because when we think about eating is to consume something. Once you put something in your mouth, it goes into your body. And if you go into science and biology it talks about, like, how you eat certain foods and your body gets certain nutrients and things like that. But imagine if you eat something bad. Imagine if you eat something that's rotten. Imagine if you eat the wrong thing. Once you consume it and it gets into your body, that's all spreading about. And when we think about this, when it comes to the word of God, if you remember Jesus, when he was walking in his flesh and he's telling the disciples, oh, eat this bread, as if it's my flesh, and drink this wine as if it's my blood, giving like an analogy of like, okay, consume me. So when we go and we think a little bit deeper into eat thou not the bread of him that have an evil eye. And what does the word really mean by an evil eye? Somebody who's like wicked in a sense. An evil eye, they we can go into all the scriptures about the eyes, and but I don't want to go there because I don't want to like tread off of what I'm trying to say here. But someone who has an evil eye, someone who's wicked, someone who the Amplified Bible said a selfish man. They called it a selfish man, but I believe it goes deeper than that. I feel like envious, someone who's looking with an evil eye. They're not, their eye is evil, right? Neither desire thou his dainty meat. And dainty is described as like a delicacy. So sometimes, you might be looking at what other people may obtain, and it may not even be material things. It may just be like their behavior. When you're serving God, it seems like the world looks so fun. And some people in the world, it seems like they're having fun, they're living life, and everything's all great and amazing. And it's saying, neither desire thou his dainty meats. And I'm going somewhere with this because you're probably thinking they're talking about bread and meat. So what are you talking about? But like I said, if you remember when Christ used the analogy, okay, eat this bread like it's my flesh and drink this blood, which I don't want people going left here because that's a whole nother subject. But drink this wine as if it's my blood, giving indication, consume me, so receive me. So when you receive something evil or you take something evil within you, outcomes happen. So it says, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. So that's simple enough. The morsel which thou hast eaten shalt thou vomit up and lose thy sweet words. So although they're talking about bread and meat and things of that nature, then it goes to this verse and says, the morsel which thou hast eaten, thou shalt vomit up and lose thy sweet words. Because sometimes you may have people in your life, they may be telling you what you want to hear. They may be telling you, eat, drink, be merry. They may be telling you all those sweet words. But when you receive what it is that this evil bread from this person that has an evil eye, when you receive that, and you desire those dainty meats, those delicacies that it seems like that person has, when this person has an evil eye and they're wicked, it's telling us that morsel which you ate, you'll vomit it up and lose the sweet word. So it'll be like you receive from this person, oh, I love you, I care about you type stuff, or whatever the situation is, and you'll vomit that up because that wasn't a good thing to receive because it wasn't true. Like when it said, as a man thinks in his heart, eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. It's not honest. It's not coming from the heart. Anyway, this is what led me into the book of Hezekiah to really study this thing out. And this thing was hard for me to study. Let me tell you, we're really only going to go into 1 or 2 chapters, but the whole thing is really, it's something for sure. So we're going to start at Hezekiah chapter 2. Now, not Hezekiah, I'm so sorry, Hosea. But Hosea was told by the Lord to marry this prostitute, basically. He wanted him to go marry this prostitute, marry this woman, this horror woman, and he did that. And when he did that, he ended up conceiving children by her. I believe it was 3 children. First, it was a daughter, another daughter, and a son. So 3 kids he bare by this prostitute woman. But when we get into chapter 2 of Hosea is when what really is pertaining to this video, love them like the Lord loves you. Because although it's going to go through chastisement and although it's going to say all these things, it's also, it took Hezekiah to do what the Lord was calling him to do in order for the Lord's will to unfold when it came to this matter. Right? So a lot of people who are dealing with this situation or have ever dealt with this situation, or you may deal with this situation in the future, which if it's God's will, because if it's not God's will, no one is trying to go through this type of stuff. I don't believe anyone is trying to go through this type of stuff unless it is God's perfect will for this to happen. But nevertheless, love them like the Lord loves you. Even when we go back to Proverbs 23rd, although it was talking about as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So what is our response to that? What is our response to someone who their heart might not be with you? What they really feel may not, what they're really saying to you or what they're really offering you may not be true. It may not be what you think it is. How do you respond to that? You have to respond as Christ would. You have to respond in the attributes of Christ. So we're going to get into love them like the Lord loves you. I'm just going to start at verse number 5. Chapter 2 of Hosea, starting at verse number 5. For their mother have played the harlot. She that conceived them have done shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers that give me my bread and my water and my wool and my flax, mine oil and my drink. Now, this whole thing is like as if Hezekiah is speaking the word of the Lord, as if he's speaking it to the wife that he married, the prostitute woman. But when I'm reading this, talking about love them like the Lord loves you, it may not be, you may be a man coming across the video and the Lord could be speaking to you about loving a woman the way the Lord loves you. But this could definitely be for a man, and I really think it is. Like, just because it's talking about the way this woman acting, men be acting that way. And it's my own. Let me keep going. Verse number 6. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up thy way with thorns and make a wall that she shall not find her paths. So what is it saying in verse 5 and 6? It's saying, okay, this mother, she's been playing the harlot. She's been out doing, what harlots do. And she's been acting shamefully. The person is saying like, okay, I'm gonna run after my lovers. Why? Because I'm gaining from it. I feel like I'm gaining from it. They give me bread, they give me what I want. They give me water, they give me wool, they give me flax, they give me my oil and my drink. So these people are like chasing other people for what they can receive out of them. And then verse number 6 is like, okay, therefore, behold, I will hedge up thy way with thorns and make a wall that she shall not find her path. So when God has called you to love somebody the way that he loves you, don't think that all these actions and all these behaviors and things of that nature are just going to be overlooked by God. God is doing something here. Just like he was doing in the book of Hezekiah, he had a purpose for this. Like the Bible tells us, all things are working together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. So it might look crazy. It might feel crazy, but God has a purpose in this. So although these people might be out running after other people, might be playing harlot, might be out sleeping around, doing whatever it is that they're doing, and they're doing it not only for that gratification, but for other things. Like, what can I receive out of the situation? What can I get out of this person? What can I get to supply my own needs? As the harlot was playing, people that are harlots are not just fornicating or smashing people just to smash. They're doing it for what substance they can gain out of it. The same way that people who this is pertaining to, they may be out doing what they're doing, but they're doing it for what they can gain out of it. And it's not just sexual gratification. And the Lord is saying, okay, therefore, behold, he's speaking through Hosea, therefore, behold, I will hedge up thy way with thorns and make a wall that she shall not find her path. So what's that mean? God's going to block it. God's going to block whatever it is that person's doing. Going down to verse number 7. And she shall follow after her lovers, but she shall not overtake them. And she shall seek them, but not find them. Then shall she say, I will go and return to my first husband, for then was it better with me than now. What does that mean? When it's saying like, okay, first God say, I'm going to block that person's past. I'm going to block her past from going running back and forth between these lovers. I'm going to block what it is that they're doing. I'm going to put up a hedgeway. I'm going to put up a hedge with thorns and a wall that she cannot find her path. Whatever direction these people are trying to take, that's it. If it's not the will of God, it's going to fail. God's saying he's going to block that, right? And then it goes on to say, and she shall follow her lovers, but she shall not overtake them. Now, when I first read this here in the King James Version, I was thinking like, okay, you're not going to be able to like, when you say overtake, in my mind, I was thinking overtake, like control, like take control. But in the Amplified Bible, it was a little bit different. And I want to bring that up real quick, what it said, because for some reason that's sticking out to me right now. And that is verse number 7. In the Amplified Bible, it says, she will passionately pursue her lovers, but she will not overtake them. She will seek them, but will not find them. Back to the King James Version. Then shall she say, I will go and return to my first husband, for then was it better with me than now. So then after these people go do their things and they're chasing these other people or whatever the case is, then it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go back to, maybe whoever. I'm gonna go back. It says, I'm gonna go back to my first husband, for it was better with me then than now. Verse number 8, for she did not know that I gave her corn and wine and oil and multiplied her silvers and gold, which they prepared for Baal. What does that mean? Okay, when this person's saying, okay, I'm gonna run back to the one that's loving me like the Lord, because it was cool for me there. But that person doesn't know that the only reason that things were increasing for them, while they had sufficiency there, while they didn't have to worry there, is because of the Lord. This is why the title of the video is Love Them Like the Lord, because it's not about you. It's not about what you did for this person, what you're doing for this person, or whatever the case is. If God called you to love somebody like the Lord loves them, it's so that they can see the love of the Lord through you. So the scripture is saying like, look, okay, they're saying I'll go back because it was straight there. I didn't have no worries. They were supplying me with whatever. And it's saying, but they didn't know that it was God that was doing that. They didn't know that God was allowing this person to supply the needs that they had because of his goodness and his mercy and his grace. Verse number 8 again, for she did not know that I, being God, gave her corn and wine and oil and multiplied her silver and gold, which they prepared for Baal. Meaning even the things, investments that you made into this person, or whatever it is, gifts or money, whatever it was, food, whatever it was, it's saying they prepared it for Baal. So meaning they used this for the camp of the enemy instead. And I'm not talking about like they went and took it to do witchcraft with it. If that's your situation. But I'm saying like they used it, they didn't use it for its intended purpose. They went and used it for things that were glorifying the enemy. And sometimes the enemy can be self. The enemy can be an adversary in you, if as a man thinks in his heart. Therefore, I will return and take away my corn in the time thereof, and my wine in the season thereof, and will recover my wool and my flax given to cover her nakedness. So then it's like in verse number 9, God is saying, you know what, since you took what was, what God was blessing you with, and you used it for the camp of the enemy, therefore I'm going to return and I'm going to take it away. I'm going to take it away, right? Given to cover her nakedness. Like, God clothed this person in a sense and to cover them up. But verse number 10, And now I will discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and none shall deliver her out of my hand. What does that mean? Lewdness is like nakedness, basically. And when you think about being naked somewhere, especially where people can see you, it's a shameful act. It's not normally something that people are on a mission to do. And what the scripture is saying is like, now I will discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers. Meaning these people that these people that you have been called to love, like God loves you, like the Lord loves you, like Jesus Christ loves you, and they went and did whatever they did, or whatever the case was, whatever your situation is. Now I'm gonna uncover that person. I'm gonna let it be known in the sight of those people, in the sight of those people that they ran to. I'm gonna let their lewdness be uncovered. I'm gonna let that shame be there. I'm gonna let them see it, right? And no one's gonna save them. And none shall deliver her out of my hand, meaning once the Lord starts judging this, ain't nobody going to be able to save the person from that situation. Even those lovers that these people were running to, they're not going to be able to deliver them out of the hand of the Lord, because who can come up against the Lord? There's never going to be any match. Verse number 11, I will also cause all her Mirth, M-I-R-T-H, to cease. Remember that. Her feast days, her new moons, and her Sabbath, and all her solemn feasts. So I had to look up what merriment. Mirth means amusement, especially expressive laughter. So, you know, if you are amused, you're in the state of laughing. What is that really saying? I'm going to take away her joy. I'm going to take away their joy. I'm going to take away all that fun they thought they were having, all that amusement they thought they were having, all of that good stuff. I'm going to take that. And this is not my opinion. This is what the Bible says. But mind you, this is not because of any way that the person did you. It's ultimately because God called people to love people like the way that he loves them. So when they're rejecting that, they're not rejecting you, they're rejecting God. And God judges that. We don't avenge anything. It's none of our business. We are here to be vessels, to do what the Lord wants us to do. And when he calls us to do certain things, even though it might look crazy, we still are supposed to continue to operate in the attributes of Christ. So I don't want anyone, I don't even know why I have to say this, I don't want anyone getting excited like, oh yeah, oh, they're going to get judged. And oh, no, don't be excited about that. Vengeance is the Lord's. Verse number 12, and I will destroy her vines and her fig trees. Wherefore she saith, these are my rewards that my lovers have given me, and I will make them a forest, and the beasts of the field shall eat them. What does that mean right there? Whatever fruits they received when they went out and started serving other gods, when they went out and started doing things that, whoredoms, if you want to call it that, trying to get whatever they could get based off of whatever, I'm going to destroy that. I'm going to destroy her vines and her fig trees. What she saith, these are my rewards that my lover have given me. Meaning this woman in this word that was a prostitute was receiving gifts, receiving, monetary things for what she had to offer. And she was saying like, okay, these are the gifts, these are the rewards that my lover has given me. These things that people have obtained when they went out and did things like that, or things that they had no business doing. God is saying, I'm going to destroy that. I will make them a forest, and the beasts of the field shall eat them. And that's another analogy. I'll make it like a forest. Like, I'll make it where these beasts come and eat it. I'm not talking about a physical lion like breaking through someone's door and eating up, their things. But spiritually speaking, like these fruits, or these so-called fruits that they feel like they acquired while they were out doing whatever it is that the Lord didn't want them to do, it's going to get devoured. God's going to destroy it. It'll no longer be anything valuable unto them. It'll be destroyed. Verse number 13, and I will visit her on the days of Balaam, where she burned incense to them, and she decked herself with earrings and her jewelries, and she went after her lovers and forgot me, saith the Lord. So what does it mean when it says I will visit? Sometimes in the word that can be good, but in this particular statement, it's saying, okay, I'm a punish her. I will visit upon her the days of Balaam. When she was out serving other gods, or when he was out serving other gods, I'm going to punish them for that. When it says when she burned incense and she decked herself with earrings and her jewels, and she went after her lovers, went to go chase these things that weren't of God, went to go do these things that were adverse to, what God had spoken. Because, I don't want to get too left or too deep, but you being a prostitute is not something that or a whoremonger, or however you want to put it, male or female, this is not something of the Lord. So when they were out doing that and all this stuff, getting dressed up and decking themselves out, and it says I will visit her the days of Balaam, they were ultimately serving other gods by these actions, and the Lord saying, I'm going to punish them for doing that. I'm going to visit them. I'm going to show up and I'm going to show up and do something about it. And she went after her lovers and forgot me, saith the Lord. That's the end of that verse, and forgot me, saith the Lord. Because when these people went out and did these things, or they just turned their back on God, like as I was saying a few minutes ago, it's not about you. If you're someone that God has called to love someone else like the Lord, it's not about you. It's not about them rejecting you, rejecting your love, rejecting what you have to offer. It's not about you. It's ultimately they're rejecting God. They're turning their back on God. They're not receiving the Lord. And the Lord is saying, okay, I'm going to come through because they forgot me, save the Lord. They forgot me, save the Lord. So they forgot him. Verse number 14, therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak uncomfortably unto her. So what's going to happen? After God says, look, all right, I'm going to punish them. I'm going to show up on those Balaam days and remind them, like, look, you forgot about me. But then it's saying, therefore, I will allure her. And passionately pursue her. I believe that was the way it was written in the Amplified Bible. And mind you, this whole judgment is talking about Israel, and God played this out like to give judgment to a nation through these actions, through this story that we're reading. It was played out like that so Hosea could give word to Israel. So I'm gonna lure her. I'm gonna draw her in and bring her into the wilderness. So then these people will go into a state of being in the wilderness. And whenever we see people in the wilderness in the Bible, they were alone. They were pulled away from the norm or what they're used to, or what they know. Being in the wilderness is like withdrawn from, I don't want to say withdrawn from society, but in a sense, it's like you're withdrawn from the noise. Withdrawn from everything else. You're in the wilderness. You're just in a place with God. And I will give her vineyards from thence, and the valley of Archer for a door of hope, and she shall sing there, as in the days of her youth, and as in the days where she came up out of the land of Egypt. So after the Lord draws his people into the wilderness, it's like, okay, I'm gonna bring them to like how it was in their youth, where they're gonna be singing to me and then having a relationship with me, basically. And it came, verse number 16, and it shall be at that day, saith the Lord, that thou shalt call me Ishai, and shall call me no more Baali, Baali. So I had to look up what Ishai meant. And Ishai, I-S-H-I, means husband. So it's saying, like, after this person, starts receiving this judgment for what it is that they done, and they go to the wilderness and they start spending time with me, and I bring them to this state of, all right, now that they're starting to remember me like in the days of their youth, they're starting to sing unto me, they're starting to have a relationship unto me, then I'm going to start like fixing the situation. It even says I'll give her vineyards, and vineyards, when we go into the Bible, talking about, the new wine and all those things like that, which I don't want to go left, but I'm going to give her vineyards from thence. And then it goes down to verse number 16, and it says, and it shall be at that day, saith the Lord, that thou shalt call me Ishai, which means husband, and shall call me no more Bailey or Belial, which means Baal. Verse number 17, for I will take away the names of Balaam out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. So meaning, this time where these people were out serving other gods, doing their thing, whatever, it's going to come to a point after they go into their personal season with God, and God starts fixing these things and starts giving them a new wine and giving them, giving them him, because they're ready to receive and because they're ready to have a late relationship with the Lord. Then it's like, okay, now I'm gonna take away those names, all those other names, those other gods, those other people's, places, situation, things, whatever. I'm gonna take that away from their mouth, and it will be no more remembered. It's not even something that these people are gonna be thinking about anymore once they find this real relationship with God. And in that day I will make, verse number 18, and in that day I will make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, and with the creeping thing of the ground. And I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth, and will make them to lie down safely. That's deep right there. I'm going to make a covenant with them with the beasts of the field, meaning, and then it says in the latter part of that verse, and I'll make them to lie down safety. Verse number, meaning they're not going to have to worry, like, what does that remind us of? Psalms chapter 23. Let me just go there really, really, really quick. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff will comfort me. So then when we're reading, like, okay, I'll make this covenant with the beasts of the fields and with the fowls of heaven, and with the creeping thing of the ground, and I will break the bow and the sword and the cattle and the battle out of the earth, and will make them to lie down safely. I think that's meaning, like, I'm going to put them at peace. I'm going to put them at peace. And that's an amazing thing. I'm gonna put them at peace. I'll make them to lie down safely. I'm gonna put them at peace. Verse number 19, and I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yeah, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness and in judgment and in loving kindness and in mercies. So I had to look up what betroth meant. And betroth, enter into formal agreement to marry, basically to be engaged, or to promise. So the Lord is saying in that, like, I'm making this promise to you forever. I'm gonna betroth you unto me forever. Verse number 20, I will even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know the Lord. Verse number 21, and it shall come to pass in that day, I will hear, saith the Lord, I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth, and the earth shall hear the corn and the wine and the oil, and they shall hear Jezreel. So what is that saying? And when it gets to that point, then God's going to hear. Not only them, but it's saying, I'm going to hear the earth, right? So hold on, I gotta find something. What am I trying to find, Lord? Okay, I'm gonna have to find that later because. Okay. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Verse number 21, and it shall come to pass in that day, I will hear, saith the Lord. I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth. And the earth shall hear the corn and the wine and the oil, and they shall hear Jezreel. And when I read it in the Amplified Bible, it was saying, like, when he's saying, I will hear the heavens and they shall hear the earth, meaning like I'm going to cause rain to fall. But what just now the Lord had me thinking about is in Matthew chapter 13, and it says, again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasures hid in a field, the which when a man hath found, he hideth, and for joy therefore goeth and selleth all that he hath and buyeth that field. Verse number 45 in Matthew chapter 13. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls, who, when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and brought it. I don't necessarily know why I just read that at this moment. But anyway, let me finish with verse number 23, which is in chapter 2 of Hosea. And I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy. And I will say to them, which were not my people, thou art my people. And they shall say, thou art my God. So ending off that verse, it's saying like, okay, I'll have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy. So even people who the Lord has called you to love, like he loves you, they may have been in seasons where they didn't, obtain mercy. But after this whole situation, after God, in the Bible, it's called the chastisement of adulterous Israel, because as I was saying, Hosea was chosen to marry this prostitute woman, but it was for a purpose, because God was going to, lay out this judgment for Israel. Nevertheless, it was called chastisement, because chastisement is like correcting you, a loving way of correcting you, because it's not that the father didn't care. If he didn't care, they could have just destroyed themselves, or, that would be my mind. Like, okay, if you don't care about something, you'll just let it slip away, or not even bother trying to correct it, or not even bother trying to fix the situation. But chastisement is like the reason it may be so harsh or seem so harsh is because it's out of love. And when you are called to love someone like the Lord loves you, mind you, I want to say, it's not like you got to put all the weight on your shoulders, because the word tells us, like, the burden of the Lord, his yoke is easy and his burden is light. So we're not meant to carry everything. Like, you shouldn't be downtrodden if you're someone who is dealing with these type of things, if you've been called to love someone, or God has told you to pour love into this person and love them and show them the attributes of Christ, if when it starts getting too heavy for you, you got to tap into the Lord, because you're not supposed to be carrying this whole burden on your shoulders because of the way somebody is acting. Because ultimately, as I said before, when it comes to them not receiving you, or you feel like they're not receiving you, or whatever the case is, as I said, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to. I'm just going to tell the truth. I told the Lord before I got on here I didn't want to make this video. I don't want to be that person talking about like kingdom spouses and God ordained and spouses. I don't want to do it. But nevertheless, I'm here with this word. But if this is someone that God has called you to show his attributes to, you're not meant to carry the whole burden. So you don't need to be downtrodden because of this other person's behavior. You got to give it over to the Lord. With that being said, back in verse 23, it's like, although they may not have received mercy in his sight before because they were serving other gods and serving all these other things, pleasures of the world, lust of their flesh, and things of that nature. But then after they go through this, they're going to receive mercy. And then God's going to say, all right, you know what? Even though you weren't mine, you're mine now. And I think that's it. But back to Matthew chapter 13 real quick, verse 44 and 45. Again, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto treasure hidden in a field, the which when a man hath found, he hideth, and for joy therefore goeth and selleth all that he hath and buyeth that field. And I really feel like it's like I want to say like I feel like the Lord is saying, like, when these people get it, these people that you have been chosen for a purpose or called for a purpose to love them the way that the Lord loves us, to show them who the love is. Once they get it, it's going to be like a treasure unto them. It's going to be like something that it says like unto treasure hid in a field, the which when a man hath found, he hideth, like a treasure, like this is something that's precious unto me, and goeth forth and selleth everything, and therefore goeth and selleth all that he hath and buyeth that field. Like when these people actually get it, it's like a treasure unto them. You will be like a treasure unto this person, that they will literally give up anything. But of course, it's not just about you, it's about the Lord. Once they really see who the Lord is, they got to see who the Lord is. But once they see who the Lord is, it'll be like you're like a treasure to them. And then verse 45, again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls, who, when he found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and brought it. So take that as you will. Until next time, I'm Car Janelle. Bye.